Hello, everybody, and welcome to a conversation with artist Maggie Miners. Hello, Maggie.
Hi, Lisa.
You might win the contest for the best Zoom background.
Well, thanks. Thanks. It is my studio, so I love being here.
I love seeing your work. I love seeing you. And like I'm telling everybody, these conversations are 5 to 10 minutes long. The idea is that because we can't do this in person this year, we're trying to facilitate as much meeting the artist as we possibly can. So we're going to run through your questions quick, share them with the planet, and hope for the best. So thank you so much for doing this. We totally appreciate it.
Well, thank you and your team for all you guys do. It's so inspiring. So thank you.
Hustle is real with Evanston Made.
Yeah, I know.
So let's first talk about what piece you have exhibiting in the group online show.
The name of the piece is Wind, and I made it when I was in Iceland on a workshop for my, towards my MFA degree. And I was really struggling because the landscape of Iceland at the time was very bland and very beige. And I tend to work in color and really use that as a way of expression. So I ended up altering the landscapes digitally and adding my own touch to it. And as I was doing that, I was thinking how easy it was to do. And it kind of got my mind to the place of how we as humans commodify nature. So as much as it is a happy, pretty picture, there's a little bit of a darker spin on it that hopefully brings awareness to people when they look at it.
And it's so surreal. I imagined as you were looking at that Icelandic landscape that it must have just been as bizarre looking as the landscape that you ended up creating, because the colors are so playful and strange.
Yeah, I mean, it was really surreal to be there, and it was so empty. I mean, and it was sort of in between season, like tourist season, so it just wasn't populated. And being in the photo arts, light is such a big deal to me, and it was such flat light the whole time, but yet there was such a surreal feeling and energy around it all that I was really pleased that I was inspired to do something with nothing.
Tell me what you are working on right now. What's on your canvas?
So as I mentioned, I'm in school for my MFA, and all the work I've been making up to this point has had the common thread of communication, privilege, and feminism. And so right now we just got started with our newest semester, and I found myself, as you can see from behind me, getting more interested in textile arts. My degree is going to be in media arts, but I think that's a very open interpretation. So I don't know what I'm doing exactly this semester, and I will be studying filmmaking a little more in depth, and I will be making a textile of some sort. And my thesis show will culminate in a lot of the things I've done already. And I hope to bring that to Evanston or Chicago or something when I'm done.
I'm looking forward.
Sorry to be vague, but
no, I like it. And I love that you're sitting in front of your work. I think that's fantastic. So what is the difference since shelter in? Really the main reason we're doing these interviews is because we're all separated. Is there anything different, not only about sort of just your practice, but how you're approaching your day-to-day, from your art to just your lifestyle? Has anything really changed?
Well, I feel very grateful and fortunate to say, in terms of my lifestyle, no, nothing's really changed. I tend to work alone in my own studio. Everybody's employed. We have health insurance, all of that. Like, I'm very grateful from that practical point. In terms of my practice, again, being in school has been a real blessing because it's had to keep me focused on like things that I had already started for the semester. I don't tend to make my art based on the moment. I tend to chew on my ideas for years. And then I finally figure a way to execute them as a physical expression. So I did, with the shelter in place, I do struggle a little bit about, making art related to the pandemic, and just given the time of this interview and where we are today, like art related to all of the peaceful rallies and the protests and the chaos that's going on. And that's not how I can make my art. Like all of that will show up in my art somewhere down the road.
Like in
but
3 years.
yeah, because I tend to really just go from an authentic experience. And I think the way I process my experiences are over time. They're just not immediate. So it seems like the art I'm making right now, I feel like it's very unimportant. But I know in my heart it's not, and it'll relate me to other humans.
Right.
In some ways.
We're also hearing from a lot of artists during these conversations that there is work that maybe they were doing 10 years ago that they put down because they hated it, that they're sort of bringing back to life. So there's this through line of like, yeah, work that you're ideating on for years at a time. Okay, so are you finding the break from humans a relief? Is there a, thank goodness I don't have to go to art parties every 15 minutes, or do you miss humans and you're like on Zoom and Facebook for 24 hours a day?
Well, I'm on Zoom a lot for school and for some other stuff I'm involved in. I will say the humans I miss the most are my art people. I do miss art parties and galleries and museums and just conversation. And I feel like my best conversations and my most honest conversations, I won't say all of them, but a good majority of them are with artists and supporters of the arts and creative people, where we can just get real about stuff. And it reminds me of the power of art. And especially in these times, like I need to be with those people. And that's what I'm missing. I'm surprised. Given that, at times I think we can all run ourselves a little ragged going from one opening to the next, and this talk at this gallery and this museum and so on and so forth. But I miss it. And I think that's good and interesting for me to know.
Yeah, and to have culture removed from your life that way really makes you think like, it was so much more important to me than I ever realized how much I rely on creatives to keep me interested and connected to my community. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get back to it soon. Okay, so globally, without taking an hour and a half, how long have you been self-identifying as an artist? Have you been making your whole entire life? What has your artist journey been like for you?
Well, in a quick summary, I've always been very interested in textile arts. Like when I was younger, I'd needlepoint and rug hook and make baskets and things like that. But I got into photography a little later in life as a bridge from one career into being a mom. And it really started as a hobby, but I got very interested in it. And I started calling myself an artist in about 2015 when I was working on a series based on Norman Rockwell's paintings. I found that photography wasn't really the thing that was driving me, and that it was more the ideas and concepts behind the images I was making. And so that's when I got comfortable calling myself an artist. And I've been like a professional artist since about 2005. And what I identify that term with is selling my art and teaching and working with organizations and mentoring and speaking and so on and so forth. So that's where I am.
And your website is maggieminers.com. So people, I would encourage, when we post these interviews, we'll have links to your website and Instagram. I encourage people to look at your Rockwell series, because A, incredibly impressive, but B, you've also had a fair amount of traction from the press and exhibitions and sales from it. It's good to look at, everybody else.
Yes, especially in this time.
Especially in this time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so last question, the big one, who are your inspirations other than me? Who out there?
Lisa D. So, I mean, I have so many. I would say that artists from the Pictures generation, like Sherry Levine, Cindy Sherman, John Baldessari, love him or hate him, Richard Prince, and then people like Jeff Koons. I'm just very inspired how they use culture and film and other art forms to inspire their own work.
Excellent. Nice. Thank you so much, Maggie, for your time today.
Thank you for all you do, Lisa. You guys are awesome, and it's so great to see so much art around Evanston right now. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.